What's up, it's Dajin, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Backrooms. The Backrooms is a trilogy that has been going on the internet for many years, probably dating back to like the early 2010s, maybe like 2015 and above. I'm not too sure on like the whereabouts on where it started, but it has been on the internet for a minute. It's a concept. You are stuck in a place, kind of not in your mind. It's not your mind. It's like a hive mind type of thing, and it creates a reality that has different levels and different planes on it. Now, when we're talking in regards of the movie, I went to go see this movie at the perfect time. I went to the movie theater at 11 p.m. at night, 11:30 p.m. at night. You know, I was a little bit late. I was going on a train 4 or 5 miles away from my house, but I got on the train to go watch this movie. And then, you know, the movie didn't start until 12 because the credits fucking rolled so long. But luckily I got there like 20 minutes late, so the credits were just ending. I feel like with any movie that has kind of like lore to it, like FNAF, anime movie like One Piece, freaking film Red release, you don't have like any background knowledge on the film, you can't really like just talk about it. You didn't grow up with it, you didn't hear things about it really. You're just like, oh, there's a scary movie, Backrooms, let me go watch it. And I feel like that's what a lot of people like, you know, went into the movie with. They didn't get enough of like the Backrooms lore to really like digest the movie and really think about the like deeper concepts in the movie. 12 o'clock at night, it was like, you know, it made the experience much more surreal, made it better. And going into the movie, I feel like it had this really calm, airy tone in it. It was, you know, we go to this department store where Clark is, you know, trying to sell his furniture to a miniature town in like the middle of nowhere. Like, I'm guessing this takes place in fucking like Indiana, Wisconsin. Clark, you know, he has a little bit of trauma, and we see that throughout the whole movie. He has to go to a therapist because he is having like, you know, anger issues from like his ex-wife, and like the fact that I don't know if he abused her, but they just had like a lot of arguments. They had a lot of like issues dating back, and that was really affecting Clark's like mind space. And he goes to therapy. He meets up with his therapist Mary. They talk a little bit, and like as the movie's going on, you just like feel the office scenes. You feel all of these scenes, and they're just like not even intense, but they just give this feeling of like you're there longer than you're supposed to be. It's just like the way their lines are, the way everything is. It's like you could tell the world that it's like set in is kind of different. It feels like the world that they're in is like kind of like the Backrooms in a way. And until we get into the actual Backrooms, and you know, Clark, he finds it in the bottom of his like department store. His department store is like the perfect entry for the Backrooms. Like I heard many times online, it's like the perfect entrance. So, you know, you get in, he discovers it. And I feel like one aspect that I like about this movie, and like people are like, oh, why the fuck did he not get out of there? I feel like the Backrooms has like this hypnotic tie to make people want to explore more, and really affects its people with like mental, like really like they just have a lot of mental anguish from the past that they like went in. And I feel like to like tie that together, I feel like that really fits like with the Backrooms concept. He didn't really care for other people, and the main theme of this movie is that like, you know, Clark is like, he's the perfect entity for the Backrooms, because maybe what defines the perfect entity for the Backrooms is ones that like can kind of have a conscience, because they hold that deep of a grudge like within their heart to like, you know, have that like anguish. But like continuing less upon like the movie itself and more on to like the actual Backrooms, it, you know, I feel like they matched the aesthetic perfectly. You know, it was like, it felt infinite. It felt like when you were in a movie at night, if you were really engaged, you went out having a good time, it felt like you were in the Backrooms at some point. It had like, I feel like the perfect ratio of like just random shit. It kind of did show other levels, but I wouldn't say it did necessarily, but it did show other parts I feel like the movie could have, like, if we're going like more into the middle of it, I feel like the scenes when they were getting chased by the entities were like really good. In that aspect, like the entities were like phenomenal. I just feel like the aspects that they could have included more is that they could have had like them search more, actually bring things back, and like, you know, we could have figured out more about async. But I feel like the concept of this movie itself is kind of like a prequel to like everything, and like they definitely need to build upon it more. I think that's why I feel like for the first movie you can't put too much like criticism on it towards that, because in a way it's kind of maybe a prequel, or like it's going to build on later on, and this Backrooms is like set to define like the universe and like more about like what's going on. And I feel like, you know, the movie ending with like not having like much of a storyline, like, you know, Clark, he ends up meeting his demise, and we could talk about why he met his demise, and like the whole like fight between freaking Bacteria, Clark, and Zoe. Like, honestly, I feel like for Clark, he, you know, he was in the Backrooms for like a long time. Like afterwards, he lost his 2 employees. He was just wandering there by himself. He kind of wanted to be there because he lost his mind. He probably wasn't thinking crazy clearly. Once he wanted to stay there because, you know, he ran into the Bacteria self after his worker Kate got killed in the accident, and you know that kind of like trapped his mind in there. He was like, I'm not gonna leave because, you know, I might die. So I feel like that's the situation. But Zoe like coming back and like being willing to help, I feel like, you know, she definitely should have brought some people in. And I will admit, like, I did like fall asleep for a little bit, not because like the movie was boring, but I was like tired. I was out that whole day. That scene itself defined the Backrooms, because she was like a person in a video game. She fought off the entity. She was able to win. You know, Async took them out. They even took freaking Bacteria Clark. He exists now in the soul-giving universe. And in a way, like, it kind of like expanded like the dot of the Backrooms, because at the end you see them like trapped in like an infinity chamber, and you just see like the Bacteria version of Zoe, the therapist, who, you know, she's just sitting there waiting, because all she does is listen. But I think her thing is like she doesn't take enough time for herself or into the entities themselves in the Backrooms. I don't know like how big that concept is. Someone probably broke it down like more, but I just feel like just adding that piece to the movie added a cherry on top. Clark's death, I mean, come on. But overall, I would give the movie like a good 8 out of 10. It was good. The suspense was really good. It was like, it had really good scenery. Everything was like surreal in certain moments. Honestly, I just think if you didn't have prior knowledge on a series like this, then maybe you should like get some before you try to watch it. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. It's Stagin. We could talk more about the Backrooms in the comics. Sign